Yo, what's good everyone? Welcome back to a brand new video. Today, I'm here for a test hands video. Yeah, I only have done one other test hands video, and that was with the Dark Magician deck, and that actually did so good. And I would like to thank you guys for the support of that. But today, I'm testing out something new. It's not really new within the meta, but like this is something new to me, and I have added my own twist to it. We're gonna be doing Branded Eldlich. I've been wanting to play Branded Eldlich for quite some time, and finally I have the chance to do so right now. So throughout this test hands video, there's only going to be 2 proxies, as that's going to be 2 copies of Branded openings. I'm still waiting for them to come in, and once they do, I'm going to be bringing this deck to locals and hopefully bring back the local series. So without further ado, let's just get straight to the test hands. So while I'm getting everything ready over here, I actually want to talk to you guys about something. So first of all, this playmat is so beautiful. I just got it yesterday, and I've been really wanting to show it off to you guys. So, bro, I definitely am in love with this playmat. Like, it's about to be my new playmat for a while. Second of all, videos to go on the channel. So obviously this, I'm gonna do more testing with the Punk Dynamorphia Eldlich video that I did not too long ago, and I want to do more experimenting with that certain deck for sure. And another thing, Dark Magician content. Ever since my last Dark Magician video, I have really no idea what the Dark Magician deck will be, or like what certain path I would go with the Dark Magician deck. But I have been having a lot of things in my mind about the Dark Magician deck for sure, like different path that it can take, or like the problems that the Dark Magician deck has, or what advantages the Dark Magician deck might have now compared with these new cards, or what cards could be put into this deck, into the Dark Magician deck, like any newer cards or anything like that. So I hope to do more of those videos in the future. And another thing that's going to be coming out as well, some test hands that I did a while back with the the Punk Dynamorphia Eldlich deck. 2 test hands from Dueling Book, so I might just make that into a shorter video, or probably put those 2 test hands and one more test hand to the side. So I'm gonna decide on that. So we're gonna finish off shuffling over here, and we're gonna cut the deck, and we're gonna draw our 5. Okay, we got Imperm, Conk, Valor, Ash, and yeah, there's the Spice Teresia. There's nothing really branded or Eldlich about this hand except for the Conquistador. So honestly, if you don't know the Dynamorphia stuff, normal summon effect, and you would just set your copy of Frenzy. So within this deck, I'm playing triple copies of Teresia and triple copies of Frenzy. It's just a small Dynamorphia package that you can add within the deck. Being able to just set up your monster of the Dynamorphia Rexstrom to make sure that your opponent does not activate any monster effects or have any certain advantage against you. So that's definitely something right there. Yeah, definitely a more simple hand. 2 hand traps, Ash, Valor, Imperm, Conk activate during your end phase, and Frenzy. Yeah, nothing really too big. So on to the next test hand. Now on to the second test hand. Let's see what we can get. Any Branded or, well, Teresia, Gozen Match, Sanguine, DD Crow, Branded Fusion. Alright, at least we have some sort of thing that has to do with Branded Fusion. Okay, that's pretty good actually. So this is actually a really good hand right over here. So obviously activate your Branded Fusion, right? Cards you would send from deck to your graveyard. Obviously Eldlich the Golden Lord, because this is the Branded Eldlich deck, and you're going to be sending your copy of Fallen Albaz. Everyone knows where this would be going, so I'll send these to the grave to go for your copy of Albion. And now you would activate the effect of the Albion to fuse by banishing. So you would banish the Albion and Fallen of Albaz, keeping the Eldlich in your graveyard to go for your copy of Mary Jane. You would summon your copy of Teresia effect. You would set your copy of Dynamorphia Frenzy right over here. And now, since you have Eldlich engraved, and the rest of your hand, look at this. We have the Sanguine, we have Gozen, and we have this, right? So obviously the best card to set will be the Sanguine. Activate the Eldlich effect in graveyard. Send the Sanguine for cost to summon the Albaz the Golden Lord right over there, and then activate Sanguine effect in your main phase to set a copy of Conquistador. And with the rest of your hand, you would just set your last card, which is the Gozen match. So if any sort of way that your Eldlich will be outed, you would activate Gozen. You would still be under your darks, and you have interruption right over here, and you have another one. So let's say this goes into your opponent's turn. You have your DD Crow in hand. Your opponent doesn't know that, and you have your monsters right over here. Main phase. First thing you would do, I would activate the Frenzy. So Frenzy has to send from deck and extra deck, which is one of the main things that I don't like about the Frenzy, but it's still a really good card. So go ahead and send Teresia and Stelpergia from deck to grave to go for your copy of Cantigina. So you already pay half. You're at 4,000 right now, and probably right at the resolution, or if your opponent has anything else to do, you would activate the Teresia effect, pay half again, banish the Dynamorphia Frenzy to copy the effects. So the effect of Cantigina is now your copy of Frenzy. So once again, you have to send from your deck and your extra deck. So your Stelpergia and your other Teresia to go for your copy of Dynamorphia Rexstrom. The only thing I don't really like about this is the fact that your monster zones are clogged up, because Frenzy is just so limited of where you have to do this. But compared to a card like Domain, where Domain you can use monsters from your field and your either hand, deck, or field, either both from deck, both from field, or both from hand, which literally doesn't matter whatsoever. So like usually I would use both the Cantigina and Teresia from either hand or field to go for the Rex. But since now that your Rex is there, you can't activate your copy of Conk or your copy of Gozen. So that's the main problem there. Yeah, sure, you may be able to activate the Gozen, send away the Golden Lord, and then all you have is Darks on board. But honestly, it's still not fixing the problem of you trying to clean up your board. Obviously, you can use the copy of Mirror Jade to banish your Teresia. Not sure how good that would be. I would probably save the Mirror Jade in order to eliminate something that you want to get out of your opponent's field. So I really would not do that. But this is still a good board where you have 2,000 life points right now. So your opponent cannot activate anything over 2,000 life points. Anything with 2,000 attack or over, Mirror Jade is still a banish. And Cantigina is going to be a bigger body once it comes on the board. And if any of these monsters were to be cleared, you still have your copy of Conquistador in order to pop a monster that pop a card that your opponent controls. And you still have a Gozen match if your Eldlich gets outed, or if you just really need it in general. So I would definitely say that's a pretty successful hand right there. Alright, from the two test hands, we didn't get any sort of combination with the Branded Fusion and the Cursed Land, where this would be one of the best combos of the Branded Eldlich deck, where people would want to actually play the Branded Eldlich stuff. So let's say you activate your Cursed Land first, pay 800, and you search one of your cards, which would most likely be your copy of Conquistador. After you pay your 800 to search your Conquistador, activate Branded Fusion. Branded Fusion obviously would send your copies of, first of all, if I can find it, Eldlich and your Fallen of Albaz right over here to go summon your copy of Albion. Then Albion would fuse this to go for your copy of Mirror Jade. Now you would activate your copy of Curse Outland. Not activate the effective Eldlich the Golden Lord. Send Curse Outland to add to hand, summon on board, and then activate your copy of Curse Outland to dump a card, to dump a Golden Land card, and most likely the card you're gonna be dumping would be Yugioh because it has less applications within games 1, but games 2 and 3 would be probably, you still send a Yugioh, but Yugioh would still be a little bit more useful right now. A little bit more useful within games 2 and 3. And then you already have the Conquistador set already. So right there, you already have 2 interruptions just from 2 cards in your hand. And just imagine the rest of your hand being just floodgates or anything like that. So if end phase, activate Yugioh, banish to set your copy of Scarlet Sanguine right here. So you would be able to get your second copy of Eldlich the Golden Lord during your during the end of your opponent's turn, which will be the best time to activate it. Or if you're forced to activate it, you'll be locked into zombies. You wouldn't be like that lock wouldn't really do anything for you because you're not really summoning anything during your opponent's turn. Obviously would be, you have your banish, which was sent most likely the Albion, or if you want your copy of Branded Fusion, you would send the new Albaz monster from Dimension Force. You have your Conch and you have your Scarlet Sanguine. So that's really what two cards in your hand would actually provide for you, which is actually a lot of advantage right there. So our little proxy over here, if you don't remember from before, this is gonna be your copy of Branded Opening. Branded Opening is one of the better cards in the deck because it's the quick play spell, and for it being a quick play spell, you can activate this during your draw phase. So let's say draw phase, activate Branded Opening. Branded Opening, you have to discard a card. So discard a card, right? And then you summon your Aluber, and then you activate your Aluber effect to get your copy of Branded Fusion, which will most likely be the main target of the deck. So with just having those 2 cards read, with just having the 1 copy of Branded Opening, activating that during your draw phase, Drone Lockbird is being played a lot right now, either in mains or side decks. So this is doing all this within the draw phase is just helping you out not to get Drone Lockbird. Even though like with this certain deck right over here, you don't really care about cards like Drone Lockbird. But if you have like a card like Curse Outland, especially when your opponent knows that you're playing Branded Eldlich, activating your copy of Curse Outland to add a card like Conquistador or something like that, even when you have like a Aluber or something like that in your hand, and they draw you, you're just pretty much effed at that point. So you definitely got to be careful. Even in this deck, you can get hit, but not as much as a regular Branded Despia deck for sure. So a problem that you do run into with Dynamorphia Frenzy is that it clogs up your main monster zone. Yeah, sure, you can put like a Rexstrom or anything like that within the extra monster zone, but sometimes you do get punished for putting monsters within the extra monster zone, like cards like Mech Knights, Cyber Dragons, or I don't even know what else, but that could be a problem. And sometimes you could just take the risk because you probably know what your opponent is playing already, but say as if you do not want to take that risk, that there's a small chance, right? You can play 1 copy of the Diplos and 1 copy of Domain, right? So you would have to play the 1 copy of Diplos because Domain fuses from the hand, deck, or field, and most of the time you would activate a Domain when you have no Dynamorphia monsters, or with just a copy of Kentrigina already, or a copy of Teresia already on board. So you would have to go into your main deck, get the Diplos and a copy of this, and go into your copy of Kenchijina. But let's show this off in more of a filled up board where you are playing your hand out. Okay, let's speed up everything a little bit. Okay, these two, and then you would end up banishing this and this to go for Marajade, right? You already facilitated Marajade, right? Marajade, okay, is already out. But now you would normal summon the Teresia. Instead of setting the Frenzy, you would set Domain, right? And you would just play out everything else. So set Eldlich effect. There you go. Set one. Same end board that we ended on, right? So now we proceed to your opponent's turn. Now you would activate the Domain instead of the Frenzy, right? So where you would have to let's be safe and fuse the Diplos. You have to fuse with the Diplos, and it really does not matter. So let's fuse a Teresia and Diplos from deck, right? Both from deck. Summon Kenchijina. Now Kenchijina effect. You would banish the Domain to copy the Domain effect instead of the Frenzy. Now you would take these two and go into your Rexstrom. Now you do not have as much cards blocking up your main monster zone as possible, right? Because to be fair, these two cards are almost dead on the board, right? This is not a pure Dynamorphia deck where Kenchijina's effect would be useful multiple times, and Teresia, it really does nothing to summon the Diplos because it just doesn't really do anything else, right? So these are the main monsters that you really want on board, for sure. So I would definitely, and now you have space, activate your conch, destroy something, Marajade is still there. Yeah, everything here actually matters, and with the Frenzy, these two cards would still be on board, and they almost would do nothing for sure. So that's definitely a reason why you might want to play the copy of Domain. Yeah, at least just one copy of Domain and the one copy of Diplos would change up your play by a lot, and it really does a good number on your deck for sure.